There is another section to week 1, though, which is important for me, is making sure that you've developed the right tone on the guitar, okay? And I don't just mean like whatever. I mean, let me show you. So let me go back to this jam track here. Let's listen to this just for a minute here. Okay, so what's happening there is it's a G chord, and a B minor chord, and a C chord, and a D chord. That's what it is. So it's in the key of G. All of those chords, I know, all of those chords fit in the key of G. G is the 1 chord, B minor is the 3 chord, C is the 4, and D is the 5. Now, the beauty of what I just said is if you're not sure of what I just said, that's why Derek and I decided that we wanted to use these bonuses, these bonus courses, to help you with the fringe stuff. So if you don't know your essential theory, or you don't know your essential scales, or you don't have any licks, or whatever it might be, these bonus courses are going to fill in the blanks and help you with that stuff, because we don't want to spend our time together just talking about one lick, right? Or what is the major scale, or what is a pentatonic scale? Those are conversations to have at another time. And we're going to give you all of those things to work on to excel at everything. Our conversation is going to be focused on how soloing works, whether it's an improvisation solo, it's something that you're improvising, or whether it's something that you're pre-constructing for a composition, right? And how those things can actually interact with each other as well. It's very important to understand that, because a lot of times people think improvisation is just, don't let me hear it, just start the song and then I'm going to start playing and we'll see what happens. And it doesn't work that way. Like, you need to do some prep work. If you want to get hired by a band or get hired to do studio work or whatever it is, the goal is to know the situation and then give your best for that situation. Okay? So that's what this is about. Now that we know it's G, B minor, C, and D, and they all fit in the key of G, okay, then I can start assessing what I'm going to do on my fretboard. But before I do that, what I like to do is, let me find it here, if I can find it. I like to dial in a guitar tone that feels right to what I'm trying to do. So let me show you here. I'm going to go to this right there. Okay. So this is a picture of my Kemper. Now, you don't need a Kemper. I'm just showing you. So if I went with something like this. It's a great tone. Okay. Love it. It's a 5150 style tone. It is not appropriate for this soloing thing, right? It's going to be way, way too heavy for what I want to do with this thing, okay? If I went to, let's say I go to Michael Britt, who does amazing work, and I go here and I choose this one. Again, wonderful guitar tone. It is not going to work for my solo though, okay? So the most important thing I'm trying to get at here is that when you're doing this stuff, the most important thing to do is find a tone that feels good for the situation that you find yourself in. So I've just chosen a tone that has kind of a nice lead sound for it, and I'm going to just see how it works over the sound of this. Sounds great. Okay, so that's what I mean by tone. And you don't need a Kemper. You could use your Spark amp if you have and dial in a tone from there. Or back there, I've got a EVH actually sitting back there. And I could just dial it in. Like it could be an EVH, it could be a 5150, right? I just got to dial the distortion back and dial it in however I need. I love a little reverb and delay, right? Those sorts of things. That's something that we need to talk about too, is dialing in the right tone. If you just try and play over a blues track and a metal track and a pop track or whatever it might be with the exact same tone every time, it can be kind of weird. Like if I was to take a metal tone and try and solo over this, it's just going to sound overpowering and it's going to sound uncomfortable for me, and it's not going to fit right in my skin. So these are things that we want to talk about in week number 1, is assessing that situation, listening to the music, and then deciding what we're going to do. What do we know about it? What don't we understand? And what do we know about ourselves to approach this? And week 1, I'm going to go live and we're going to talk about this. We're going to dial this in. Okay? So I have a mind map here. I'm not going to show you this because it's not done. I'm still developing it for the thing. But like the first thing I've got on here is assess the musical situation. I have all this stuff we're going to talk about, from tempo to style to key to whether it's interesting or motivating to you, melodic, is it mellow or, is it loud? What style do you think it is? All that sort of thing. And then assessing you and your strengths and your limitations. We're going to talk about all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to talk about approaches. So what I want to talk about today for week 1, aside from the things I just mentioned, is thinking of your solo like a story, okay? It has to have ebb and flow, right? It has to have that. It has to be exciting. But if it's just fast all the time, or if it's just slow all the time, or if it's just pentatonic all the time, or whatever it might be, or if it's not connecting to the chords in a melodic sense all the time, it doesn't sound as musical. Music needs dynamics, just like a story. Your solo needs dynamics. It needs to be interesting. And that can mean interesting in being loud and soft, or high and low, or fast and slow. It could be interesting in your phrasing. And again, over the 6 weeks, we're going to talk about all of these things, not just in week 1, obviously, but that's what you need to try and dial in. So what I always tell people, and this is where we're going to start in week number 1, is start with limitations on purpose. Like, don't just try and climb to the top of the mountain, without any preparation, and then you get there and you don't have any water and you can't breathe because the elevation's too high. And you got to plan and then start building, because we have time, right? Again, soloing doesn't mean push play and then let's just see what we can figure out in real time. And oh my God, that went great, or oh my God, that went terrible, and now I'm not going to get the gig, right? I'm not going to get the gig with the band, or I'm not going to get hired to do production or do a solo on somebody's production or whatever it might be. I got time. I can listen to the song, the musical situation, as many times as I need to make a plan. And then once I've got a plan, I'm going to just dip my feet in the water and figure it out. So that's what we do in week 1, is start with a limitation. So maybe our limitation is just starting with the root of each chord. Let's say we just started with something like pentatonic. So G major pentatonic, because I know it's in the key of G. And again, if you're going, well, why do you know it's in the key of G? This is why I'm going to give you all these bonus courses, is so you understand these sorts of things, because it's very important. Just having a guitar and knowing how to play things, but not understanding why things work, is a bit of a detriment, and you want to know those. So we're in G major. Let's just say we knew pentatonic, and that's all we really know at this point. If I was going to emphasize the roots, what I know is I need to find G, I need to find B, I need to find C. Now, C is not part of the G major pentatonic. It's okay. You'd have a revelation and go, hey, G major pentatonic doesn't have a C, but I can add the C. And if I add that C, it gets me one closer to what we call the diatonic scale, the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do scale. So you've just enhanced and elaborated that G major scale by adding the root C. And then we have D. So those are the roots of each one of those chords. They are obviously the most basic thing, but they're very playable. You're always, at liberty to play the root. So if I go back to that track again, let me get my thing out of the way there, and I start this track again. Nothing exciting is happening yet, but I have made a musical connection. So the next step that we start learning about is how to convert that into something that sounds more musical. Well, number one would be, and again, I'm kind of going all over here because these will be divided into the weeks, but if we think about phrasing, right? One thing I start learning is that I don't just have to play on the downbeat. I don't have to play on beat 1 each time. I could start on a different beat. I could, start maybe my G chord on G on beat 1, but when I go to B, maybe I go to it a little late, right? The other thing that I start learning is what I call connection points, and we're going to talk about plotting points, which we're going to talk about as well throughout the 6 weeks, which is now that I've plotted these points, I start developing a plan, like a map plan of how to approach this. So I've got G and B and C and D sitting here. Well, the next thing I want to do is start thinking about how to get to each one of these. And what you're going to notice is I'm changing up the phrasing. So they're not just going da-da-da, 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 right? And also you're going to notice that I'm using techniques like bending and vibrato and slides. Instead of just playing the D, I bent to the D. So I can get all of that kind of sound. If you want to play guitar solos with complete confidence that sound more fluid and musical than ever before, or play solos over different styles of music in a live band where you're effortlessly trading licks with fellow musicians, and ultimately have more fun playing guitar, then you're going to want to pay close attention and watch this video the whole way through, because you're about to discover a simple way to combine fretboard knowledge, scales, modes, chords, triads, licks, melody, technique, speed, and accuracy into an awesome solo that tells a story instead of sounding like random notes or a scale. Without spending months trying to figure out how to pull all the pieces of the puzzle together yourself just to end up confused or picking up a bunch of bad habits that could prevent you from ever playing guitar solos like you want to. My name is Steve Stine, and I'm a guitar player just like you. Even though I have a degree in music education and have toured across the world playing guitar, I've always thought the way soloing is taught, in pieces without a clear way to put them all together to play a great solo, was overwhelming. Maybe I'm old school or something, but I never really got how some people can learn soloing by mastering hundreds of scales, patterns, licks, and spending hours on fretting and picking exercises. And I've tried all kinds of stuff like I'm sure you have, and it sure has been frustrating. Like going through dozens of tab books, going through my favorite solos note by note, spending hours digging through every scale book I could find, and practicing every position up and down the fretboard. Or playing along to solos by my favorite guitar players that sound good, but not being able to create my own from scratch. After spending all this time and money, soloing just never really clicked. I thought, there surely must be something I'm missing that will give me an aha moment where I can play fluid and melodic solos in my own signature style. That's when I decided to throw everything I'd learned out the window and start from scratch. After a few weeks, it dawned on me that I'd been thinking about soloing the wrong way. You see, I always thought solos were made of pieces of scales, licks, patterns, and whatever cool tricks I could do, but I discovered a shocking fact. Guitar solos simply tell a story. A story-based solo goes through several sections: an introduction, rising action, and a climax. It might restate or build on a theme or melody from the song. It sounds awesome because it serves the song and audience instead of the guitar player. When I learned how to tell a story, my guitar solos improved tremendously. I never had problems trying to figure out how to start or end my solos, and never ran out of ideas because I was laser focused on telling a story within the song. I started sharing this with some of my private students, and they started getting similar results. I want to share it with you too, and I've found the best way to break down old patterns, keeping you from playing solos at a high level and ensure that you're improving your solos day after day, week after week, is my new 6-week soloing challenge. Now here's some of what you're going to discover. In week 1, we're going to talk about how to set up and tune your guitar to get the best tone with the least amount of effort. The critical difference between planned playing and improvisation. Why good technique can kill your ability to make music and how to fix it. A simple way to create your own signature style that doesn't take hours of practice. In week 2, we're going to learn how to develop razor sharp timing in 10 minutes using a metronome. metronome, how to dial in your signature sound using your existing gear, a simple 3-step soloing formula that trains your brain to hit the right notes even if you don't know scales. In week 3, we're going to learn a quick and easy way to visualize notes on the fretboard, which means you'll always know where to place your fingers when you're soloing, how to play the most important scales for soloing across the fretboard. In week 4, we're going to learn how to use phrasing and dynamics to play authentic solos that never sound like a boring scale. One simple 3-note per string pattern to play lightning fast licks even if you struggle with alternate picking. How to create a groove that tells a story in your solos. In week 5, we're going to learn how to use escape routes to connect ideas and play musical solos across the fretboard without getting stuck. 5 picking patterns every lead guitar player must know. And in week 6, we're going to learn how to build an impressive guitar solo from the ground up the right way, so you have a proven plan to begin and end your solos with a bang. This 6-week soloing challenge isn't just 6 weeks of videos. It's going to be 6 weeks of videos interacting with me, the GuitarZoom staff, and fellow challenge members. I'll be going live once per week for 6 weeks with you, which I've never done before, so I can help you wire in all the things you'll learn during the challenge, and you'll have an opportunity to ask me questions. You don't have to worry if you can't make it because I'll post the recordings in the private Facebook group and your members area. What makes this different from my other courses is there'll be accountability as well. You'll have activities to keep you engaged throughout the challenge so you stay motivated and see real, noticeable improvements in how you think about and play solos. Plus, you'll be going through the entire process with a group of like-minded guitar players who are focused on playing better solos. And the encouragement you find and connections you make on this journey will be so powerful. Similar good courses cost hundreds of dollars or even $1,000 at Berklee College of Music Online. Or you can do like I did and spend thousands of dollars in college learning what I'm going to show you. With all that said, this could easily sell for $1,000. After all, similar courses sell for $1,497. Of course, it won't cost you $1,000, not $500, not even $100. You get to enroll in the 6-week soloing challenge for just 3 payments of $26.80. Or you can save 17% if you want to make 1 payment of $67. Another one of the most important things you can develop as a guitar player is your technique. That's why I've included my 6.5-hour Essential Techniques course as a special bonus. You'll learn the secrets of building your picking speed and accuracy, strumming, bends, harmonics, and whammy bar tricks to spice up your guitar solos, and dozens of licks that will sound awesome in your solos. If you were to buy this on the website a few months back, it would have cost you $99, but you get it free when you order today. And if you order right now, you'll also get my Music Theory Made Easy 2.0 course free. It originally sold for $99 and covers all the music theory shortcuts you need to play freely across the entire fretboard and really get creative when it comes time to solo. With this course, you're going to overcome problems like worrying about what scale will sound good for leads and alternative scales you can use to improvise better solos than you ever thought possible. You won't have to worry about feeling lost or confused because your fingers will be trained to instantly find the right notes without any hesitation. So to recap, you get to start my new 6-week soloing challenge, which starts on May 2nd, and all the great bonuses I just mentioned for 3 payments of $26.80 or 1 payment of $67. And you're protected by our 30-day guarantee. Truly, put it to the test for a full 30 days and see if it's right for you. And if you don't think it's a good fit, no big deal. Just contact our friendly support team and they'll issue you a full refund or exchange. No questions asked, no receipt required. However, I can only offer this price and bonuses for a short time. After that, the price increases to $199 and the bonuses won't be included. So click the button below and get started today. As soon as you place your order, you'll get a receipt in your email with instructions on how to access the course. You'll also get an email with your link to join the private Facebook group for challenge members and immediate access to the Essential Techniques and Music Theory Made Easy 2.0 bonus courses. If you want a simple way to put all the pieces together to play solos that tell a story across the fretboard, then you're absolutely going to love 6-week soloing challenge. And it's simple to get started. You log into the course and watch your first short video, and as you build your skills, you move to the next video. You complete the weekly accountability activities and attend the weekly live sessions, always at your own pace. You can watch and repeat lessons as many times as you need, and your soloing ability will skyrocket. Remember, this could easily sell for $1,000, but you can have it today for only 3 payments of $26.80 or 1 payment of $67. And when you order, you'll also get an email with the link to the private Facebook group and immediate access to the Essential Techniques and Music Theory Made Easy 2.0 courses. You'll learn all the techniques you need to play killer solos and all the scales you need to improvise solos over any song. The 6 live sessions and bonuses alone have a $918 value, and you get our 30-day guarantee. But remember, I can only offer this price and bonuses for a short time. After that, the price increases to $199 and the bonuses won't be included. So click the button below and get started today.